Karen. So these various educational and training initiatives and the ones that you mentioned for the soil testing and providing farmers with the resources they need, joining hands with the government, of course, to extend reach will definitely lead to sustainable agricultural development in Africa in the long run. So yes, as we are discussing on sustainability, Adam, please educate us on the major benefits of using organic farming methods, or let's say organic fertilizers.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam Seke and I represent Rokosan. Rokosan is a company which produces organic fertilizers from animal byproducts and waste. This is very much interesting topic because I would like to say that organic farming is not only about organic fertilizers. It's a very much complex topic, and I would like to thanks also to Godrej Agrovet and OCP by doing their work, because I need to say that ecological transformation is very much connected to the technology, to the science, to the mapping of the soil. And I would like to give you our insight on that. Why organic farming matters. In past years, we can see a transformation of many farmers in Africa who are trying to become more ecological. From my experience, working more than 7 years in Africa, in Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Cameroon, Nigeria, and so on, I have to say that I see a huge increase of farmers who are trying to become more organic. To give you the main advantages of why should we look into organic farming, the main issue is that by not using organic nitrogen and organic fertilizers in overall, we are slowly degrading the soil quality. Which means that in the future, the soil will require even more synthetic fertilizers to preserve the same yields. However, if we look into this as an opportunity, by increasing the organic content inside of the soil, we can increase the natural fertility by increasing the amount of microorganisms currently in the soil. Those microorganisms are very important for the release of the nitrogen, but also there is one important thing we need to think about, because climate change is very much connected to the lack of water, and the less organic matter we can find in the soil, the less water it can hold. By not holding the water, we are then meeting with the problem that the soil may become very much dry and will not sustain the yields. These are the results of monocropping, of using the synthetic fertilizers, or not using the right combination of the fertilizers. Because of course, organic fertilizers, they also need to contain nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus to work very well. There is one mistake which are usually connected to the agronomists, not only in Africa, but all around the world, that organic fertilizers usually are mistaken just for the manure. This is not true, because currently there are many organic fertilizers on the market which can offer very good yields. They can offer amino acids, humic acids, and NPK content. For example, our company produces a specialty liquid fertilizers, which works well in all the weather conditions. We have a very good results, for example, from Kenya, where we tested on tea, coffee, and traditional crops. And what we can say that our fertilizer can work very well on its own, but it also works well when it's combined with the traditional fertilizers. And what is the great thing? We can mix it with any kind of plant protection. This is very much interesting because even gentleman from Godre Adrovet mentioned that how bees are important for the farming. And I would like to connect to this topic. If we are using harmful chemicals, we are slowly destroying the whole ecosystem. The microorganisms in the soil are suffering, the bees are suffering, so the pollination process is stalling, and at the same time, the fertilized land can become a pollutant for the groundwater or even for the animals which are feeding from the fertile ground. This is the opportunity for us to think about transformation of the agriculture. I know it's not an easy task, not going to happen in 5 years, because importance of the chemical fertilizers is very much huge, because we need to sustain the yields, we need to sustain the amount of the fertilizer to feed the population. But at the same time, we need to think about future and about enhancing the quality of soil, because soil is a treasure which we need to bring to next generations. But to answer the question why African farmers could look into ecological and organic fertilizers, one of the things is we are also founding member of Association of Organic Fertilizer Producers of Slovakia. And from our experience, what we can say, most of the fertilizer could be produced in African countries from the local resources. This would make the fertilizers more affordable. We would be cutting costs for the transports, and by making fertilizer available, it would change the dilemma of the farmers, because the decreased usage of the fertilizer of African farmers is not only connected to the financial capacity, but sometimes also to the availability of the fertilizer, like it is in Rwanda, where there is currently a lack of fertilizers. Same wise in Tanzania, where we know that at least half of the demand of Tanzanian farmers is not met due to the lack of the fertilizer. So what I am saying is we should look into on how to bring factories to African countries to make the countries somewhat self-sufficient in production of organic fertilizers. And this would be interesting for all of the farmers, but also for all of the producers and distributors of the agro products in Africa, because Africa is the biggest market and it will grow. So I would like to end my speech with a statement that I believe that future is in Africa, but Africa has no future without organic farming. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. So absolutely, it is true that the availability of the raw materials is already there in Africa, and we need to develop solution based on that, which will ultimately reduce the supply chain issues and will also drive a country towards achieving self-sufficiency. So as